solutions. Wake up Guyana, only on Kaieteur Radio. Kaieteur Radio, the radio with a difference.
Tropical delight, the flavor tasting right, pure taste and pure delight. Orange apple cranberry, fruit punch mango, yes sir, high in energy. Jumping up every day, and I jumping up every night. I think it's back and it's pure taste, pure delight. Energy to unload, behind a truck down the road, the taste going to explode. Tropical delight, just taste and pure delight.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Show here, the biggest daytime show here on radio. We're coming to you live here from the Saffron Street studio of Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 if you're in Esquimalt and Demerara. And if you're in Berbice, it's 99.5. It's a hot day out there, and this weekend has been pretty hot. So I'm going to have to ask you to please ensure that you have a bottle of water or you have your glass of water. Get something into your system. It's really, really dry out there. So wherever you are, I want to say welcome once again. It's going to be a packed day. At 1:30, we're going to be joined by officials from the Anglican Church in Guyana. And the reason why we're going to be joining them is because they have just fixed a major part of our landmark in Guyana. That's none other than the St. George's Cathedral there. If you're Guyanese and you don't know about the St. George's Cathedral, then you should not be a Guyanese. And so wherever you are, I want to tell you that we are going to be joined by the bishop as well as an engineer, Carlton, and he's going to be with us here at 1:30, two of them rather. At 2 o'clock, we're going to have an exclusive, and I think you would know the name. You would recall on December the 21st, 2018, it was in the evening around 9 p.m. in the National Assembly. One man changed the course of history. He's back in Guyana, and guess what? We have him here, all scheduled to be on radio within the next hour or so. He's going to be here. No other than Charrandas Persaud. He says that I'm a very busy man, but I can spare you a couple of minutes, Mr. Gildarie. So we are going to bring him on, and let's see how it goes. Because people are a little curious. Would he be back? What is he going to do? Where is the government going to put him? And these are questions that we want to ask him. And of course, what he thinks of Guyana that he's seen 2 years later. So we are going to join him at 2 o'clock. Charrandas Persaud, former MP for the Alliance for Change party, which was a smaller faction within the government coalition back in 2015. They lost no confidence motion in 2018 December, which triggered elections, which was delayed after court cases, and then there were elections and many court cases. And so finally there's a new government in place. And of course, the role of Charrandas Persaud is something that we would all have to, when the history books are being written, which has already been written in Guyana, we are going to be looking at 2018 and what would have happened and the role that Charrandas Persaud played. So we're going to wait until he comes for that few minutes and talk to him. But in the meantime, let me tell you, it is October the 19th, 2020, and wherever you are, it is getting on. We are getting on. Just over 2 months left, 2 months and a few days, at about 10 days, 10, 13 days, and we are going to be coming to the end of the year. And we have been hit by the sledgehammers known as COVID-19, as well as elections 2020. And so wherever you are, you would know very well that we want to put it behind us, but COVID-19 is going to be with us for a very long time, at least for a couple of months. And right about now, the bad news is that we're fast running out of beds right in Guyana. So wherever you are, wherever you're joining us from, I want to say welcome, and I hope that you're protecting yourself. I was about in Georgetown a very short while back, and there are many people along the streets, people getting about their business, doing what they have to do. If you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube, you will see a mark across my head. I was not in a fight. No, no, no. I think Raj was asking me what it is. Would you believe it or not? I could give you an excuse that I walked in or the door slammed on my face somewhere along the way. And I sure that you wouldn't believe it, but that's exactly what happened. I went into the bathroom and I slammed the door on my face. I don't know what happened. Don't ask me. I tried to replay it in my head, but there were blood coming down. I think there's going to be a scar for the next couple of weeks there in the middle of the forehead. They have a big forehead. So Raj was asking what it is, and when I was telling him about the door, he looked at me in disbelief. I think he rather believed that I was beaten or something. No, Raj, I was not beaten. I don't allow that. I'm a very serious man, you know. So it is Monday, October the 19th, 2020. And let me tell you what your newspaper, your Kaieteur News for today would be telling you, because there are many things, serious news here today. As always, Kaieteur News gives you that line, those stories, which don't give you any spin at all. And it is man executed in fire, had taken 4 bullets in May, but he didn't make it this time. We have to get to the bottom of it. What would have, he took 4 bullets, survived back in May over a quarrel over a motorbike. He went back into fire this time, and not far from where the shooting took place. He was again sitting with his friend, and 2 gunmen came up and they pumped bullets in him. Fortunately, his friend, who threw himself down on the ground, was saved. He was not hurt, but this man, he received several gunshots, including to the head and to the chest. And he's said to be a handyman who lives in Newtown, Kitty, either the Silver Street or Danrad Street there. So we go right into it. These things here, you have to be very careful. There's another story there. Pomeroon man admits killing drinking buddy over rum. They had a quarrel. The man went home, brought his cutlass, and this is the victim, the person that died. He bought a cutlass and he put chops in this other man, and man pulled out a knife and put stabs in him. This is an interesting case. Is it self-defense? We're not sure. Obviously, somebody's going to go to court because somebody's died. When this happens, probably would have a very good excuse there, good defense. Kanji owner given, and this is a Kanji oil block owner, given exploration rights despite having zero insurance for disasters. And the story very important. It talks about the Kanji oil block, and if you're not familiar with this, is the Exxon Group and with its partners there, Chinese CSEC as well as Hess. They have started production on the Stabroek block. Next door to that, right in our waters, are 2 blocks, one named Kanji, one named Kaieteur. And in 2015, the story is that a few days before election, President Ramatar would have signed these 2 blocks over to some individuals who basically have no track records according to the story that's coming out now. And so when he would have signed over the Kanji block over to this, the concession holders, one of the things that you have to do, you have to take out insurance. So if you're drilling and there's an accident and there's an oil spill, and this oil spill goes over all the way to Trinidad or wherever it is, next door neighbors. Guyana, the company that's doing the drill is supposed to have insurance that is going to be covering this accident here, whatever it is. And so at the end of the day, we took on a company that had zero insurance for disasters. How do we do that? So if anything happened while they started drilling, we left with hole in the bag. And so these are things when it comes to looking after oil. There's so many different aspects of it, from marketing to drilling to production to profit sharing. And now you're talking about insurance, because we will have seen there's a story that is developing in Trinidad right now. There's a big ship that's out there, and it's sinking. At least it's tilting on one side, and there's a fear that it could sink. If it sinks, there could be a possibility of an oil spill, because it has oil on board. And if that happens, it's going to be a disaster for that area, around Trinidad. And Venezuela and Trinidad are at it over the moment. So we cannot say that it's that far away. These things are big issues. We have to protect ourselves. It's like you're taking insurance, and if you have a new vehicle, you don't want to take not third-party insurance, but all coverage insurance, which gives you protection against demand and then fix back your vehicle if it's a new vehicle. In Guyana, if you have an old car, people take the third-party pay, but $6,000-$7,000 a college charge, and that's it at the end of the day. So these things are important. We don't want to be left holding the bill. At the end of the day, tread carefully and engage in new sources of international funding. And this is the ex-finance minister, Winston Jordan. He's cautioning government and the PSC. And this story here would come days after Guyana indicated that the Middle East I think Qatar is giving us some major funding as well. Not Qatar, sorry, the US was here. And so he said, be very careful how you take it, because you don't want to go overboard here. So there's always a question, how much loans could you take? But on the other side of it, when you would have seen a couple of people doing those things in the past, when you raise the issue, we know best. Ramsatan among 55 wanted for racially insensitive comments, and this is the Alliance for Change leader, Camarade Ramsatan, a former minister of public security. He is wanted by the Ethnic Relations Commission. In fact, there was a full page or 2 pages of ad colored of several persons, and at the bottom of it, Cameron Ramsatan. If you've seen it in Kaieteur News yesterday, you know what I've been talking about. Apparently, he made some comments, and they want him to explain his comments. And the ERC, Ethnic Relations Commission, is a body of several stakeholders, officials, and they are the regulators. That if you do something wrong that may be pushing ethnic tensions, and so they could call you up for fitness, and maybe they could sanction you too. And there are some very stiff fines, maybe charges against you. So in this particular case, he has to explain what exactly he meant by those comments he would have made. And as you know, we're following this story that's developing with the CXC, a number of students who wrote CSEC as well as CAPE in the June-July time. They would have complained about the marks that they got, a number of them. And so CXC is saying that, because of the situation, nothing's really wrong, but if you want to appeal it, there's a review, and you pay $15. It's half price, and that's about $3,000, just over $3,000 for a review. We do it, and if we find that there's something to be addressed, that we have to fix your grades, then we give you back your money. So CXC officials would have been meeting, and today the discussions are continuing with our education officials to talk about this issue here of those grades, in which there was many people, even the unprecedented protest by students of Queen's College and bishops a few weeks ago after those results came out. 28 deaths in 18 days. COVID-19 claims 2 more. And this is a situation we have to continue to pay attention to. It's been dominating the news since March, but this month has been the most deadly month of all. We would have seen every single day it was 2 deaths, 2 deaths, 2 deaths. Sometime one day there was 4 deaths, and so yesterday again, I think there were 2 more deaths. And it's about today is what, the 20th, the 19th, and as of the 18th day, 28 deaths. So you have an idea what is happening here, and the numbers are now looking. While the numbers are dropping, the deaths are serious. And despite oil finds, Guyana's 2020 growth rate toppled from 86% from 26%. You could recall the IMF would have given us a 86% GDP growth rate early for this year, and they would have reduced that. They would have revised that to the 50-something percent. Now they're saying it's 26%. So all blamed on COVID-19 here. So Guyana must not cower in silence. And this is a front page comment here by Kaieteur News rather. Former President Donald Ramata, ably advised perhaps by former Minister of Natural Resources Robert Persaud, signed away for free the fabulously rich Kanji oil block. We did discuss this a little earlier. With a stroke of a pen, part of the inheritance of the Guyanese people was signed away. When our leaders busy themselves signing away secretly and for free parts of our oil-rich patrimony, they destroy the future of our people. Guyana's oil belongs to all Guyanese and not the PBP, AFC, and PNC who have shortchanged the nation. Guyana must not cower in silence. They must stand up and denounce this grand betrayal. All Guyanese must condemn the giveaway of the country's oil wealth. And as in a very short while, we are going to be joined by officials from the Anglican Church in Guyana. They would have gone on a major program, 4-year program, which would have seen significant improvements or renovations to the St. George's Cathedral, one of our biggest landmarks, one of the most photographed landmarks in Guyana. As you know, it was falling apart and they've managed to strengthen it. There's still some more work to be done, and they are going to be joining us very shortly to tell us about some of the work that they've done, what it meant to them. There was mass yesterday. I think, of course, COVID-19, they would have been observing that, but it was a significant progress after we would have been passing and seeing those big trestles and workers high up perched in the sky. Very dangerous, and seeing what they would have been doing there. There's a story here that tells us that Graham's Hall Primary has been designated to be used as a shelter for the success squatters. The CDC, Civil Defense Commission, would have put emergency beds and, of course, supplies, toothbrushes, and so on and so on. The photographs, and in a very short while, we are going to tell you a little about that. But there's a big story here before we join by the officials from the Anglican Diocese here. And this is the government of Guyana explaining this $25,000 COVID-19 relief cash grant. Many of you would have reached out to the Wake Up Guyana show, myself, asking for some explanations, what is happening here, there. Well, there was an advisory and there's a full page in today's newspaper of the Kaieteur. I'm going to read that to you so you could have an understanding. Maybe we could have a discussion with it afterwards. We would have brought on our guest for today. And so this is the Government of Guyana Ministry of Finance $25,000 COVID-19 relief cash grant advisory. And this is what the notice, the advisory would be saying. In keeping with its promise to bring economic relief to citizens in face of the hardships created as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government of Guyana has commenced the distribution of the 25,000 household cash grant. Distribution commenced in regions 1 and 9 and is currently being rolled out in other regions across the country. The government is advising citizens that there's no pre-registration. This is important. Let me go back again. The government is advising citizens that there is no pre-registration requirement. Clearly identified distribution clerks under the supervision of officials from the Ministry of Finance will visit each household, ascertain the credentials of the household, after which distribution will be done on a house-to-house basis. In cases where there are multiple households in a home, only the principal householder will receive the cash grant in the first instance. And the ministry goes down and says the other households in these cases will be required to provide their information on a pink form. After the information is verified, these households will receive their $25,000 cash grant. And I presume this afterwards, right? It has to be afterwards. So, in essence, what they're saying here, that officials from the ministry is going to be visiting each household. They will take the credentials, they say ID cards and so on, and they're going house to house. Now, policemen, I did see some policemen with guns and so on. And, of course, there's cash involved here. So, they're lending support, security support to this distribution of the $25,000. And they're also saying if there's more than one household living or families living within a property, you would have to fill out a ping form and then they come back to you. And I presume this is very, very shortly after. Guyana to hold key climate change meeting this month. And Raj, you're going to tell me when our guests are on, okay? Yes. So Guyana to host key climate change meeting this month. And Minister of Finance, Foreign Affairs, Hugh Todd would have been making some statements here, and this has to be this month end here. I think President Ali is going to be, as well as Vice President Bai Jagdi is going to be addressing this forum. It's a major forum that's going to be dealing with world leaders on the climate change. It's a climate change meeting to deal with COVID-19 and how we move forward dealing with this. Anna Regina staffers there would have been protesting outstanding salary, said several months they have not. And of course, the major restoration phase of iconic St. George's Cathedral completed. Man executed in a fire had taken 4 bullets. Well, we did talk about that story. Harman, opposition leader Harman, says there's enough land for everyone. And he was speaking to the success quarters. Let me see if there's anything else that we should know. Okay, leaders stop that Victoria man found in trench. So, this is important for Berbice here. Former RDC Vice Chair Dennis DeRoop, and he was the former Vice Chair of the Region 6. This is the East Berbice quarantine area there. And so Dennis DeRoop has been nominated or appointed as the Agri Coordinator, and he is going to be reporting to the Minister Zulfikar, Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar, about efforts in the region, agri efforts to improve the lives of farmers. And so this is interesting because, the big politics playing out here. And let's see what happens. So good day to the folks down in Berbice there. And wherever you're joining us from, it is going to be a very busy day today. So we have a back-to-back guest. We're going to have the Anglican. Whenever you guys, I think Raj has already said it. So we're going to start taking those 62222. We want to hear from you. Start sending us those messages. What's happening? What's bothering you? This morning, somebody called and it says there's no social distancing there at the Central Housing and Planning Authority in Brigham, where the Minister of Housing and Water is located. Said that people are there, people have converged on the ministry there, and they should be very careful. You guys got to be very careful. And wherever you are, whether you're in the minibus and so on, get yourself ready. So make sure that you're wearing a mask, that you are insisting that any passengers that are entering your minibus, that they are wearing a mask. And of course, for those hire car drivers or whatever it is that you're doing, all the factories and everything tuned in here on the Wake Up Guyana show, I must tell you that you guys just be very careful, that do what you have to do, but this thing is very deadly, this COVID-19. I think it's 111 cases so far. 111 cases so far. So you have to make sure that you protect yourself, especially if you have family, elder families, citizens that are living there, your relatives, your grandfather, your mom, dad. You have a right to protect yourself, because when you go, these people can't help themselves. Their body is not going to be able, if they have underlying conditions. And right about now, you know what is happening. There's not enough beds in the hospital, at the public hospital, the Georgetown Public Hospital, the Ocean View, what we would have known as the Ocean View Hotel, which has been converted into a hospital there. Right about now, they are all also filled. And what we have here, private hospitals are very skeptical. I happen to know it because some nurses and so would have complained. There's even circulars that the minute that you walk into a hospital, that they tell you if you have respiratory issues, refer them to the Georgetown Hospital. So if the public hospitals, the public facilities are overwhelmed at the moment, what do you believe is going to be happening? So there is, before we go on to our guests, there is some very funny things that would have happened this weekend, like I saw, but it's very serious when you look at it. They were charging $200 a head $200 a head. Guess for what? So they were flooding because of the overtopping of the waterways, our riverside, because of the spring tides that we would have had. And the Parika area was one of the area affected. Water were coming along the tarmac, and so you would call in the parking lot. Whenever there's high waters, Parika is a very low-lying area, and so they were always affected. And so people were actually putting people in the cart and charging them $200 to move from one flooded area to another area. If you want to move from where the boat area is down over to the drier side of things, $200 a head. I did see some photographs from that, and so that is where we are at. So it is getting on to time. It's a CARICOM General Insurance time. A better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Streets. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. So right about now, we are going to be joined by, I think we have our two guests already in. I'm going to probably commit murder here by pronouncing the man's name, but I'm going to try it here. I want to say a good day to Engineer Carlton Zhao. I think if I did pronounce it incorrectly, please don't kill me. It's a very funny spelling. It's like Gildarie. Everybody spells my name incorrectly. And of course, we're going to be joined. We're going to be joined by the Anglican Bishop Charles Davidson II. Charles Davidson, Anglican Bishop Charles Davidson. And so when we have that, and Carlton, I'm going to be a little informal with you. I'm not going to take the chance of mispronouncing your name as yet.
It's all right.
So you're going to tell us how
It's
it's
okay.
pronounced.
I've heard a lot of horrible things. It's only 4 letters.
It's only 4 letters? Oh,
Yeah,
very good. Very good.
Joao. It's Portuguese for John.
For John. How do you pronounce it in English?
It's João.
I'm not gonna. I'm not, like I said before. I'm not gonna
Yes.
sin myself by saying anything. I'm gonna say Carlton. It sounds very easy in the
Yeah.
ears here.
Yeah,
So
Carlton works well.
okay, so we are supposed to be joined by the bishop, and have you been? Has he tuned in as yet? Yes, I think he's there. As soon as the bishop is there. And so let me tell you the reason for this. We're going to spend a couple minutes with these two fine gentlemen. And the reason for that is because I'm very proud of, we are all very proud of our landmarks in Guyana, very proud of the Kaieteur falls here, one of the, or to say the biggest single drop waterfall in the entire world. And so when we see these things and when we go there and we see landmarks, Brickdown Cathedral is another one, and you could go along. Even the home, the State House, these are all things that we should treasure. I could tell you that places like Suriname and so you cannot pull down a building, one of those Victorian buildings, because there are laws to protect them. If you want to do that, you could only fix it up back using the original materials and so on. They're very serious about that. In the case of the St. George's Cathedral, it's such an iconic building, the tallest wooden building in the entire world. And so Carlton, in a very short while, as well as the bishop, is going to tell us today in the Kaieteur News. I think they carried a piece on the work. It took 4 years of work there. So over to you, Carlton, and maybe you could tell us what this really means to you.
All right. Thanks, Leonard. Good afternoon to your listenership and your viewership. It's been an amazing journey for the last 4 years. We were called together by the late bishop. At that time, he was very concerned about the condition of the cathedral, and this is Colonel Moss. He passed away, and he brought a team together led by Reverend Andrew Paul Carto. Reverend Carto's claim to fame is actually doing another renovation and another bringing something back. It's the St. Philip's Church, if you know, out here in South Georgetown, the St. Philip's Anglican Church. He actually led that pioneering redevelopment of that parish. He was the parish priest at the time. And Reverend Andy assembled a team of us, including Board Carter, who is being plugged into our built heritage forever. He's one of the icons. Good afternoon, Bishop. One of the icons of preserving our built heritage. And he and along with Drew Gittings and another engineer at Banks, um, and we created a team that we started to look at the building and see what could be done. The first thing we needed to do was to get the engineering skills necessary. We got Marcel Gaskin and Associates on board, with Warren Davis as the key engineer assigned to the project. And we set about cataloging the building, something we couldn't find. We searched. Bort and I did quite a bit of work on surveying the building, etc. And we did not have drawings. So the first thing we asked these consultants to do is actually prepare working drawings of the entire building and in a digital format. We've done that. And so for the building, for the St. George's Cathedral, we have detailed, accurate drawings of the entire building now. Every window size, every single element of the building, every detail is now digitized and with the bishop and the diocese. We then went to, we had a negotiated contract with a gentleman by the name of Tony Lewis, and we said, listen, this thing is obviously a long journey. Our initial budget for the entire project was about 2 million US, for 400 million Ghana dollars. And we said, listen, we got to make this thing affordable in parts, because we want to show completion. We want to do something. So our first phase was the north wall, which we started. We got that done. That was the hardest part of the work. And then we had the second phase, which basically wrapped us around the west and the southern side, which is basically the phase that you saw completed and I posted on. And then Bishop Davidson, in his wisdom, took a look at a few things additionally. And for instance, there's a wonderful meeting area downstairs called the Undercraft, which he asked us to look and renovate. And we've made that workable again, as well as we also would have done, or what would have been done a little bit before, was the eastern wall. And as you come up North Road, you'd coming to the eastern wall of the cathedral. And it was because we didn't include in the renovation process, we had to go and tidy it up. So we just finished that too. So what we have done basically is the entire building, all four walls are now restored. And we use the word restoration very carefully, because what we try to do here, some people mention, we're going back in timber and it's all bad news, rotten wood, etc. But to preserve something and preserve the heritage that was designed by Sir Arthur Bloomfield and completed in 1899, it's an injustice to try to put it back in anything else but its original glory. And we worked with our partners to make this happen. We had Aerocrama and MacVantage. They came forward and gave us first quality green heart. And we had some significant design elements that we had to make sure that we maintained. All the elements that you see, the buttresses, the structural members, all the little finishes, the architectural finishes, all those were turned out by a truly remarkable Guyanese contractor by the name of Tony Lewis of Grove. He, an amazing guy, extremely skilled, and he's a combination between carpenter and joiner. And the works that he put out there to make it finish was totally amazing. But that's basically in it in a nutshell. We assembled a great team. We had some deadlines that were very difficult to meet at times. It was not a simple project. It was not easy, especially for the dioceses themselves. There's a lot of displacement. But as I mentioned also in the post, there's tons of work still left to do, because we have a roof and then a very contentious fence to consider. So I'll leave the bishop to take it from there.
Thank you very much. And we are also joined at this point in time by the Anglican Bishop Charles Davison. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Fairly okay, sir. Thanks for having me, and Mr. Joe as well.
How did you pronounce that? Because we had a little problem. I almost would have had to come to you and ask for forgiveness there, because I did something to him a little while back. But let's go right there. This thing is not a cheap thing. Where did you find the money? 2 million US dollars. Not something that you just pick up just like that. And I understand you're asking for some more help.
Well, yes. The history of the money, of course, comes from the fact that St. Barnabas Church in Border that was demolished and the land was sold is where the money came from.
Yes, I know that place. Yes.
So 1969, Archbishop Alan John Knight, who was bishop in this diocese for 42 years, used to document a lot of the things that he wanted to happen. And so he wrote in 69 that St. Barnabas Church should be pulled down. And there was evidence that it was deteriorating because clergy would tell you that they would be celebrating the Mass and something falls from above, and it wasn't an angel. So Bishop Moss came and he decided with Diocesan Council and Synod that we were going to demolish the place and sell it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the money came from.
Very good. And so we have started back Mass there. How are you dealing with the Mass in a COVID-19 scenario now?
Well, we went back to all our churches yesterday, being the Feast of St. Luke. St. Luke is the patron saint of hospitals and healing. So it was very appropriate for us to go back on St. Luke's Day. But before that, before March, we were having services at the cathedral just for a period of time when work was being done inside the cathedral. Before March, we were still having services, but not all services. So we are back now, and we are, of course, concerned about COVID-19. Remember, the cathedral is a terribly big building.
Mm-hmm.
And, 25% of the seating capacity of the cathedral can possibly be 75 or 100. So I think we are doing fairly well. I haven't heard from the dean yet in terms of how things unfolded yesterday, but we're back in all of our churches.
Mm-hmm. And so where does it, in terms of the significance of this building here, this St. George's Cathedral, in terms of Guyana and maybe around the Caribbean, where does it stand? Do we have an idea? I know what it means to Guyana.
Well, historically, because we are British, cities were established around cathedrals. And more often than not, the city was named in relation to the cathedral. So St. George's Cathedral, obviously, Georgetown is the city.
A lot of people don't know that.
Well, that's what the Anglican Church did for the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
That, for instance, St. Michael's Cathedral in Barbados, the capital of Barbados is St. Michael's.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference, I think, is Nassau in the Bahamas, where the cathedral there is not Nassau, but before anything could have happened in terms of the city of Nassau, the cathedral had to be established. So historically, our cathedrals are and were very important because of our colonial past. It is the seat of the diocesan bishop. So there is a chair that the bishop sits in, and only the bishop sits in it. he doesn't take it with him. So whoever comes after him will also occupy that seat. So it's called ex cathedra. So that when the bishop speaks, he speaks from the authority of being diocesan bishop and from his cathedral.
So I thank you very much there. So what you have been hearing there from the Anglican Bishop Charles Davison, and of course we're talking about the completion, a major part of the project, a 4-year project to restore, to renovate, and they are gonna correct me. The St. George's Cathedral, one of our biggest iconic structure in this land of ours. So, gentlemen, in closing, I want to say thank you very much. In closing, maybe over to you. I understand Carlton was telling me that he's now been hired, and the monies that he's going to be, the money that he's going to earn from that, he's going to plug it into the cathedral. He's been hired to restore City Hall, which needs a lot of work. Maybe it's rumors, I'm not sure, but maybe you could enlighten the good bishop and myself.
Rumors, Leonard. Okay.
Bear in mind that you have to have a proper team in place, and this bishop of Guyana didn't interfere too much. I asked stupid questions and got right answers, but I take it away and allow the team to do what they can do better than I can. We hope that now that we've done the exterior and the on the croft, that people are going to contribute to finishing the restoration by helping us with the main roof, because that is indeed a task. We have to change all the zinc sheets as well. We have to do a lot of the ceiling work, and that can cost us quite a bit.
Do we have a ballpark figure what we're looking at? If you could probably start a little drive here now.
Well, Mr. Carlton will be able to give you an idea, I guess.
Well, we've been trying to estimate this. It's very difficult to understand without a full investigation and taking a closer look. But our estimate is anywhere between 120 and 150 million. It is a daunting task. There are some significant areas in there that have been compromised. But more importantly, there's a second part that we are contingency we've been talking about. It's a perimeter fence, an architectural fence like exists around the Austin house, where there won't be any posts. There'll be basically some grill work, and this is to protect the church. The church is made of timber. The cathedral is made of timber. And at 143 feet, as Bishop said, it's a huge wooden building, and it needs defense. There are quite a few people who get around there for various reasons, rather not discussed. But more importantly, they would try to cook and do different things that are a risk to the building. And we basically don't want to have this risk close to the building, and we've coming up with a design, and we're hoping that we can execute and protect the building. We've heard lots of stories about being going to be a takeaway from the structure, etc. But it's more a purpose and function now that rather than aesthetics only. It's a functional thing. It's sitting in the middle of the city, and quite a lot of people go around there.
Well, one of the funny things, it's only, I think, about a year or so back, I saw an overhead drone shot of that building. I can't remember if it's Captain Mike Charles that took it or somebody, but a lot of people didn't even know that it's a cross. The cathedral in itself is a cross, and it was such a beautiful sight seeing it in the exact same spot. But let me tell you, in closing, gentlemen, that we're very proud of what we've seen there. And I know many days when I passed there and I saw men perched up on the high, very high up in the building there, I said, God, I hope that they're taking care, because it's not. I know it's not easy, and they were doing it. It's a very meticulous work.
We finished it with a perfect safety record, Leonard. Perfect safety record. Zero accidents.
And I think the bishop had something to do with that.
Yeah, no. This was actually a condition set by the diocese and the bishop. This was a condition. It was a precondition. We had to do everything in our power to make sure the work was done safely.
Very good. And so, what we would have been hearing there is the renovation of the St. George's Cathedral, the 4 years of work, more than $2 million US, and it will be still not finished. We're looking at almost another $150 million here to do the roof. And it is something that we should all be proud of. Gentlemen, I'm proud. So thank you very much. And of course, I would love to be here sometime or the other, Guyana, hearing maybe in the next year or so that you guys have completed it, because the Guyanas come forward and they've said, look, here is $150 million to fix that roof there. So let's see what happens.
Wish. Thank,
Yes, well, thanks for having us. And
thank you.
as I said, I hope that we will get the support of the public in our efforts to finish the project. And again, thanks very much for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
So,
much.
yes, so it's Anglican Bishop Charles Davison and Carlton Zhao. I think I'm also going to make it up very quickly, and forgive me, my friend. I'm going to make it up to you sometime or
Sorry.
the other. So in the
That's fine.
meantime, both of them would have played a major role in the renovation, what we would have seen there, St. George's Cathedral. Have a pleasant rest of the afternoon, gentlemen, and until.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
care.
Thanks again.
So there you would have had some officials of the St. George's Cathedral there. I think you would have heard from Carlton Zhao, and he is no other than a senior executive of Bank CIH, but he's also a very senior official in the Anglican Church in Guyana there, and he would have taken part as one of the main persons of a team overseeing the renovations there. Not easy work, those who are familiar with it. And if you're familiar with that, see where it was before, 4 years back, to what it is now. We should all be very proud. If you're ever there in the church in itself, it's really a very hallowed halls, very quiet, and like the Big Dam Cathedral, you could feel something there's happening. And for us to have been able to rescue it, we should all be proud. This is our country. We have to do that. In a very short while, we are going to be joined by former MP for the Alliance for Change, Charrandas Persaud. You can recall that he played a very important role, or a role in the no confidence motion, hero or what. We are going to be talking to him because he left on the evening of December, sometime after December 21st, 2018. This is almost 2 years back. Left Guyana, went to Canada. And of course, his departure and his vote would have triggered what's supposed to be early elections in Guyana. It did not happen. There were delays, court cases. Even when the elections happened on March 2nd, 2020, around the time it was indeed supposed to happen, it was further delayed by 5 months because of the incumbent coalition government insisted that there was something wrong with the election. There was fraud. Of course, they have filed the elections petition. There's a new government in place led by Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali. And at this point in time, we are going to be joined in a very short while by Charrandas Persaud. They just returned, been very quiet. We've managed to get an exclusive. A couple minutes, he says. We are very busy, but we would have had him on the show during the elections, during those 5 months, which is very tough times for the people of Guyana. So it is October the 20th, October the 19th, 2020, and wherever you're joining us from, this is the Wake Up Guyana show here. We're coming to you live from our Saffron Street studio on 99.1 if you're in Esquibo or Demerara, or if you're in Burbison, you want to catch us, it is 99.5. We're also streaming live to you on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. So let me very quickly recap. What is it that we would have discussed a little while back? The government, the Ministry of Finance, has explained the $25,000 COVID-19 relief cash grant advisory via an advisory. And today in the newspaper, Kaieteur News, this is what it had to say. In keeping with its promise to bring economic relief to citizens in the face of hardships created as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, The government of Guyana commenced the distribution of the 25,000 household cash grant. The distribution commenced in regions 1 and 9 and is currently being rolled out in the other regions across the country. The government is advising citizens that there is no pre-registration requirement, so do not go register anyway. If anybody tell you that, no. Wait until they come by a house. And it goes on to say clearly identified distribution clerks under the supervision of officials from the Ministry of Finance will visit each household, ascertain the credentials of the householder, after which distribution will be done on a house-to-house basis. So you'd have to present your ID card or whatever it is to that house. In cases where there are multiple households in a home, only the principal householder will receive the cash grant in the first instance. The other households in these cases will be required to provide their information on a pink form. After the information is verified, these households will receive their $25,000 cash grant. What we could tell you so far, what we know is regions 1, regions 9. Region 1 is the area that borders with Venezuela. Regions 9 borders with Brazil. Region 8, Region 6, they're still to come to Region 5, which is West Berbice. They've gone to Region 6, which is East Berbice, the quarantine area across there. They've still to come on Region 5, which is the West Berbice area. Region 4, the biggest area where the capital city is. They to go to Region 3, which is West Demerara. Region 2, it's a good thing I went to high school and I learned my geography. Yeah, we should all a lot of folks not very familiar with region is which region. We got to get it. So region 2 is on the Essequibo coast and there's still to go there. So it's region 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6, 7, 8, and 9 has already been addressed, or they have a far way in being addressed in terms of the distribution here. We have seen photographs of that. So in the meantime, let us see if there's any messages. We need you to send those messages. So 62222. You could send us by WhatsApp or SMS. And also in a very short while after Mr. Charrandas Persaud, we are going to be opening up those lines to hear about what is affecting you in those regions, wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing. Remember, as always, we say to you, remain safe. Wear those masks, wash your hands, protect your family. If you don't do it for anybody, protect your family. Do not, we see all kinds of crazy things go on, and people say it is not okay to not wear your mask around your family. It's not okay to believe you're going to have a family gathering, and because they're your family, you're not wearing your mask. You have to protect yourself. In the first instance, always take it for granted that everybody has it, and if you take it like that, you are going to be a far better way. As of now, we have 111 deaths, and the senior citizens are the ones who are the mostly affected. They have underlying conditions, diabetes, whatever it is, kidney issues, heart issues, and when you have respiratory issues stepping in, which is many cases these things, you have trouble breathing. Your heart can't take it, and you die of heart failure. So most cases, well, that is all. When you die is because your heart has failed, and it's all triggered by underlying conditions that many persons would have. So in a very short while, we are going to be bringing in 5 minutes or so. When Raj is ready, we are going to be with Charrandas Persaud there. Good afternoon, sir. I'm renting a house in Montreal. The landlord gave me 3 months to move out. 1 month finished, and she brought GWI and cut the water. I have 4 kids, ages 1, 3, 5, and 14. I am getting a hard time finding a place. It's COVID on small children. Where do I get water from? Please help me, sir. Thank you very much for this. Let me make it very, very clear. As human beings, we have rights. You cannot cut out people water just like that. If you've given people notice to move, this I think you have to engage the police, bring them on, but you cannot do that. So you have to make a report to the police that your landlord has done that. The landlord cannot do that. The landlord, you have a basic right to water, and this country here, I think like any other country in the world, would ensure that your basic right is protected. You need to make a complaint to the police because you have given 3 months and just 1 month finished, and she cut off your water. Then you need to report to the police. That is not how things are done. Where do you expect people to find the water? I think that'd be very highly illegal, especially with the 3 months notice that's happening here. Um, let them get more people to go different regions. I'm not sure. I want to hear from you whether the Ministry of Finance and the distributors of the $25,000, whether we need more people or whether that might be a recipe for fraud, among other things. There are many people who are raising those issues. Hi, good day, sir. Please for some advice. I have an account at court. Someone at court called me just now telling me I have from now to Wednesday to give them $58,700. I tell her that me and my husband are working right now. She said that's not them concern. So could you please give me some advice? Thank you very much. I know that the banks and everybody else who are working with people to ensure that you're protected. What I need you to do, you might have to call. It could be that somebody's calling you from courts. I'm not sure if it's courts they're calling from because they got so many scams that is ongoing right now. People call you on the phone and say, for you to settle your telephone bill, you have to send some money to this number here. It's all a big scam. You need to go into the courts and you need to talk to those folks here because if you don't have it, so what are they going to do? Pick up your SETI or whatever it is that you have. So you cannot, I'm saying to you, you cannot just leave it just like that. Go in and talk to them. Most of these places just want to know that you're engaged. And if you're not working, what are you gonna do? So go into them and talk to them, and they will have to see with you. I think most places are doing that, and courts should know better than that, man. Leonard, isn't it that Winston Brassington was on the investigation for some kind of fraud concerning the hotel? How government could hire him to run such a large organization? Please clarify. I'm not sure what he's been hired to do. I know that he would have left here. He was on an investigation by the previous government. He came, he was on the charge and so on. Those matters there. So we'd have to find out a little more about that. How, if there's a court case that's ongoing with him, whether how is that going? Whether he's been given some position. I'm not aware that he's been given any position. Um, so here it is that we have it's a better value for better protection. CARICOM General Insurance. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. at 121 Regenton Arnock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. Radzo, we have a Charrandas in the house as yet. So I'm going to have to ask Raj to probably give him a call and take it from there. So in the meantime, while we're doing that, so this and so in the meantime, while we're doing that, let's go back and I'm gonna read and we're gonna wait Mr. Charrandas Persaud to join us in a very short while. He's supposed to be on here at 2 o'clock. Good afternoon, Leonard. Sorry to hear what happened to you. Please be careful next time. I'm a loyal listener. I love Kaieteur Radio. Love you all, you guys. You're doing a good job. Thanks for your commitment. From Esther on the west side. Thank you very much, Esther. Yes, I did go in. I'm not sure what happened. I felt stupid after that. I went into the bathroom, and it's a very funny little bathroom, and so I opened the door. The door was open rather, and I shut it, and I shut it on the face, well, on the forehead and stuff. That goes to show you that I have a big forehead there, and there was some blood and sodas involved. It was a little painful for a little while. I thought I would not have been able to wash my head. Hi, Leonard. Good afternoon to you, my brother. Remember that I wrote you guys about wasteful spending of taxpayers' money? Well, I send you the proof. I want this government to know that we will not allow anyone to pull wool over our eyes. The Region 3 RDC is responsible for this work. Seems as though everyone is on a hustle right now. Let me see what is it that they're talking about here. Okay. The people clear out some bush. And this is not big grass. This is not bush. So why would you clear out the... Okay. All right. So let me tell you what this is all about. In canal, one of the canal there, the men complained. So We're trying right now to get on to Mr. Charrandas Persaud. Um, 1 second, you guys bear with me because it's important that we get on to Mr. Charrandas. Do we have him there? Use my phone. Um, so in the meantime, while we try to make contact with him, let me tell you that this message here that we were talking about here with the canal, somebody was saying that there was a wrong thing going on in the canal. They were clearing the canal trench in the West Bank Demerara area there, and while they were throwing, this person was somebody was given a contract to weed, and then somebody took the mud that they weeded out from the area, the mud from the trench, and throw it in the area that was weeded. So there was the accusation that somebody was making a raise here. Somebody got the raise to weed, and then why would you weed the area if you're going to throw mud on top of it? Why didn't you just go put your high mac and use it and just throw the mud on top of the grass? We're not sure why they do that. So this is a very stupid case here, and we'd have to look into it. In the meantime, thank you for contact. Okay, good. So that's where we're at. Somebody says here that it's a pink shirt that may make you elixir. Yes, I'm not sure about the pink shirt. Yes, I think the pink shirt was a very good idea that I spoke about some time back. I was sorting for the pink shirt, and the wife asked, what color is the pink shirt that you're sorting for? I think she was making jokes, and when I made a joke on the radio, I think she got well, I went home pretty late that evening there, so I leave that to you guys. So in the meantime, there it is, October the 19th, 2020. We are awaiting Mr. Charrandas Persaud to join us. And so, did you get to Raj? So we were hoping to get him on Zoom account there. So he's not going to be on Zoom. So what are we going to do? We're going to get him on radio. We're going to call him directly on the line and get him on the line there. So apparently, I don't know, Mr. Charrandas. One time, I think his internet was so bad when we had interviewed him on, I think, Yog and myself, Dr. Yog Mahadev, and I think on room 592. Hello? I think it's ringing.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Charrandas Persaud. How are you doing?
I am good, thanks.
We have a date this afternoon. It's at 2 o'clock, and I understand that you're not so technologically savvy because how did you allow this, man? I thought all lawyers are very smart and things like that.
No, man, when we went through the high school, even high school, you couldn't use a calculator even. We had to do square root mentally, man, without the aid of a calculator. These kids start using cell phones from age 2.
Well, the problem is I'm talking to you like when I'm all that smart. If you give me something with the telephone, I can make some calls. I probably would know how to use WhatsApp or so. So I'm in the same boat as you. So we'd be very good. I did hear some rumors and so on that you were in this country here. And so we did want to reach out to you, Charrandas Persaud. And I was just telling the folks, December the 21st, 2018 would have been a time that Guyana is not going to forget. Did you miss Guyana?
I'm sorry?
Did you miss Guyana?
Of course I miss Guyana terribly too, man.
So you came in last week?
I came in Friday last, yes.
Friday. And so what's the first thing that you did? Did you stop by M&M and did you get some egg ball and cane juice or something?
No, that would have been way past first. The first thing I did was stop at Suzdike and grab a few pieces of pine. The man actually peeled a whole pineapple, mixed it with salt and pepper, and I started eating Guyana pine from there.
Did you cry when you landed at the airport there, Mr. Persaud?
You know what? I didn't know what the hell to do. I was so miserable. I miss Guyana, and everything seems strange to me. Emotional, very emotional.
And are you and have you figured out whether you're not sure what to do? If I was myself, I would have been here and not sure what is it that I want to do. I would just want to kick back, drink 2 beers or something, and just stare at the sky, stare at the Atlantic Ocean or something. Did you do that?
No, I didn't do that, but I attended a function, my sister's birthday, and she did a Jandy in Berbice, and I went and I did take part in that to give her a really wonderful birthday send-off, 75th birthday.
All right, I'm glad. I'm glad. So you ate some curry and you were very happy.
Well, I had 14 curries because I had 7 curry 2 times.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's been a little while, I think, but now it's a time for the Hindus in Guyana now. They're
Yes,
fasting right now.
it's now right. That's right.
Yes,
9
right.
nights of
9 nights.
worshiping of the God as a female,
Uh-huh.
and only Hindu religion allows that.
Well,
But it's beautiful.
on December the 21st, 2020, it's going to be 2 years. And within the last 2 years, or almost 2 years, Mr. Persaud, this country would have seen some things. You and I have been talking with Dr. Yog Mahadi on the room 592 right on this radio here. So
Yes.
you have not been far away from us, but at the same time, you're back home here. Um, uh, uh, if Charrandas is to be offered something, would he accept to be working with government? Have you accepted anything?
No, you know what? I'm a lawyer. I'm sure you know that.
Yes, sir.
And my practice as a lawyer. One of the problems we have with Guyana government in relation to other countries is the pay structure. You are paid gratuity, but it's when you compare it to even Trinidad, it's hardly enough for you to say, leave your job in Canada or America and come here to work, unless you have a dire love for the country. Well, I'm not leaving anything in Canada. I'm Guyanese, and I've been working here. When I moved on the 21st of December, or on the 22nd was when I left to go to Canada. And so I am happy to be back here to work, and I want to contribute. I still want to contribute. I know I can contribute towards the development of not just Guyana, but the lives of people in this country. And that was what was lacking. That was what I saw lacking in the government that I was part of. And so I did my best to change it.
Great. So, so far, so you have not taken any position yet. You're just back here.
No, my friend. I'm back here to see how I can contribute, and if it means, say, being offered a job that will help me to serve the people better than I could as a lawyer, I might consider that too. But for now, I'm still here, literally trying to get accustomed to everything, including the driving. You have to drive on the right side of the road, and the drivers are still crazy. Nothing will change or nothing has changed, but I have to get used to that again. It's 22 months that I've been away from here.
Now, you did talk there, Mr. Persaud, about some role that you probably might be thinking of playing. One of the big issues that we've seen emerging since March the 2nd, or even way before that, after December the 24th, is that there seems to be a lot of issues, ethnic relations in Guyana. And I know that is a big issue that's engaging the ERC at the moment. They have started putting the foot down, even publishing politicians' faces in the newspaper, including Comrade Ramjitan party, which you were part of. He is the leader of that party, the Alliance for Change. Would you be willing to play a role in bridging this divide that we have right now that seems to be fostered by some politicians?
The role of the AFC, the reason I joined the AFC was I saw that I could have been part of that particular role to bridge the gap between the ethnic divide, or to fill up that gap then. And it did not happen because all we did as AFC, and that's why now they're so dismantled, they're so disorganized. They don't know what to do because they've been shortchanged by the PNC, and now they're complaining they could not get deputy chair for the regions that the PNC has won. And so all of that simply says one thing. The divide that is there between AFC and the APNU is not at all going to help with the racial divide. And so we need to focus on that. But when you look at what the PPP is doing, a lot of ministers, a lot of high-ranking officials in this present government are not just East Indian people. There are a lot of African Guyanese, and I hate to say Afro-Guyanese. I want us all to see that we're just Guyanese,
Yes, I agree with
and
you.
if we're not treated that way, if we don't conduct ourselves in a manner to say we're Guyanese, we're not Afro-Guyanese, we're not Indo-Guyanese, we got to be Guyanese or we're not going to go anywhere. That racial divide will not be bridged. And so we need to work on preserving the Guyanese culture. And what do you want to say? What is Guyanese? Guyanese is simply a mixture of a variety of lifestyles, variety of religious practices, and different, if you want to call it, cultural behavior. You know, the Amerindians have their own thing. When you see them perform, I was in Camarang and I went up to Waramadong and I saw these children when they came in for their graduation. It was phenomenal. And Minister then, Sidney Alicock, took me and I went with them, and Don Hastings was there also. And I just looked at these children in awe, because you think differently when you go to an interior school. You know, you expect that, well, they might be, well, dressed perhaps in their original or their native clothes, but man, they presented themselves, I'll tell you. It was a marvelous sight.
Well,
that is what we need to see. Enjoy the culture, enjoy the cultural divide, but bridge the racial gap. It has to stop. If not, we're not going anywhere.
Would we see a Charrandas Persaud who's going to be very vocal on this front?
I think I would like to see that myself. I spoke the other day by way of a Facebook post. I said it takes courage to do a wrong, but a greater courage and of a nobler sort to admit the wrong. And I even challenged David Granger and Joe Harmon to admit that they were wrong to the people they lied, because the statements of poll were clear, very clear, that they lost the election. The only thing they have to do now is admit to the people, but that's the kind of courage they don't have, to admit to the wrong that they've done, not just to their supporters, but to the nation. And unless things like that are happening, we are not going anywhere. And I said that too. They cannot be part of the development of Guyana, of the social bridging of Guyana. They cannot claim that they have contributed to the progress of their young people unless they admit to the lies that they've committed, the lies that caused this country to be tortured for at least 22 months. They lied like hell from day one. The no confidence motion was enough to remove them. They fought that in court and lost every goddamn step of the way. They had nothing to fight. We're in the world in a 65-seat parliament, 33 is not a majority. Come on, Nigel, you encourage that. They were, you know, like, how do you go? How do you go forward when people are dragging you backwards and you allow yourself to be dragged? Something has to be wrong with that.
And I think, Mr. Persaud, I would want to ask you this. There might be some people who would be worried for you because you left almost with just a couple of shorts on your back and maybe a suitcase. I'm not sure what you left with. You came back here now.
My parliamentary briefcase, man.
Yeah, so you had no change of clothing, no underwear or anything when you were leaving at that time on December the 22nd?
Well, when I came out of the parliament, I had nothing on me except my briefcase. But between the time that I exited parliament and the time I entered the plane, I managed to grab a few pieces of clothes from somewhere.
But to come to the point here now, Mr. Persaud, there might be some who might be worried about your safety. Are you worried? Are you safe?
I can tell you that I'm not really worried about my safety, but I'm very concerned about my safety. Because I honestly think that with $50,000 in a pocket and a gun in a hand, somebody may want to blow me away. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that there are people who are so shallow in their thinking that a man exercises his constitutional right, but it has offended some of them, or it has caused some of them grief by way of losing jobs and losing all this high life and good life that they had. They did not pay attention to the fact that they caused thousands, and I mean thousands of people to lose their jobs and live like below poverty, lived literally hand to mouth, as we'd say in Guyana. They didn't stop to think of that at all. They did that to people. All I did was to try to remove the corruption that I saw and the fact that they were cheating the very people who put them there. And that was what I did. That was what I wanted to happen. And that was what happened. Now they feel, many of them anyways, exactly how the cane cutters felt, or the sugar workers generally. And that's like the basis for my particular fight against the AFC.
And I want to ask you this, Mr. Persaud, for the many thousands of Guyanese who might be a little curious or wanted to know what is going on in Charrandas mine. When you would have seen, after your vote on December the 21st, 2018, what would have transpired after then, the long delays through the elections and the 5 months that you would have had before Irfan Ali was sworn in as the president of Guyana? Do you, Charrandas Persaud, have any regrets? Would you have done it all again?
If I have to do it again, instead of 3 yeses this Sunday, I'll get 6. You know why? I saw everything. And now, knowing what you know, who the hell is Larry London printing birth certificates? Is it not obvious that they were trying to put names on birth certificate? They wanted a house-to-house registration and a new list because they had to add these people to the voters list. That was how they planned to rig the election. And that was stopped dead in the tracks with no confidence to begin with. And that is why I think, like I said, very concerned about my life. A lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, a lot of high-ranking officials also. Almost every text I get, every welcome back, be safe. Why are they telling me to be safe? They feel the same way I feel, that I'm still literally sitting on a thin line, and people may still come after me to get, I don't know what, to make me pay for what. But I think that's what I'm looking at. A serious threat to my life. And Jennifer Wade, a member of parliament on the PNC side, made that threat quite boldly on the 21st of December 2018. Charrandas, you're going dead tonight. Nobody has done anything to that woman. But as it is now, my friend, you're asking me a simple question. I am still very concerned that I don't want to waste my life away. That night I'd given it up. But having been granted a lease on life, I want to preserve it now. And so I have to be extremely careful. My friends, particularly Peter Ramsaroop and the others around me, are still watching my back, as you would say, because they feel concerned. Some feel that I'm still threatened. My life is still unsafe being here. And why am I now here and I have to live in hiding? No, I'm not going to live in hiding. But let me get used to the environment, back again to get used to Guyana, the people around me and all of that. And, I'll be roaming the streets again.
Well, let's see what happens. We'll get yourself some egg ball and cane juice somewhere along the way too.
Yes, much needed right now, especially.
So, I know that you said that you were pressed for time because you had some other things to do.
Yes,
in
definitely.
closing, sir, do you have any other thing that you would want to say to the people of Guyana, people who might be interested? Because you, like I said before, when the history books are being written for Guyana, your name would be featured prominently. What do you have to say? Because you have been like the prodigal son returning here now. What do you have to say to the people of Guyana?
Let me say something, my friend. Many, and I could safely say thousands of people, all they did was to pray for me. Some just called to wish me well. And even up to now, I've made some wonderful friends through this no confidence. And I will call it the self-exile that I endured for 22 months. But honestly, there were people who didn't even know me. And they literally rooted for me. Keep going. God is going to guide you. God bless you. And it was like, they lifted my spirit by simply saying things to encourage me to keep moving on or holding on to whatever I might have been holding on to. I did not plan on 22 months. Literally 90 days was all that I looked at, but that did not happen. But it was the people around me and still around me who are supporting me, who are rooting for me, who are praying for me. And that I cannot pay for. I must thank them very much.
Thank you very much, dear Mr. Charrandas Persaud. And I did see some photographs of you cooking in a big, what is it, a big bandara? I think was it? A big pot you cooking. What did you cook? What are you cooking?
That was in Canada. It was no serious cook-up with everything that you can think of. It was a backyard cook-up.
Right.
And that food lasted 3 days.
There's a lot of food there. I remember I cooked
I think
it was corn, wasn't it? Time it lasted a whole week. because I told I can't, don't ask me. This is not a story by itself. But I want to say thank you very much, dear, to
You're welcome,
Mr.
my friend, and
Yes, and so we are going to
I am
invite you. I know
happy
that you're
to
going to
be here.
relax. Yes, and I know that
Still
you
very
are.
nervous, but very, very happy that I'm here, man.
Thank you very much, sir. And of
Thank you very
course,
much.
we are going to be engaging in a very short while as soon as you get your feet a little more wet. And
Yes,
stay
definitely.
safe until then. Thank you very much, sir.
Guyanese, I love you all. Thank you very much. Bye,
God bless.
buddy.
God bless
Thanks.
you. So there you would have had it, Mr. Charrandas Persaud. He was a former MP, Alliance for Change, and he would have voted on December the 24th in a historic, shocking move that saw the coalition government being toppled. Of course, it did not immediately trigger out what you would have seen the resignation of the government and the immediate holding of elections. It took almost more than a year and a half, and it involved court cases. But Charrandas Persaud, you would remember, it was Carlos Braffett, and there was a very famous person on the mic there talking. Remember the name, remember Carlos Braffett. It's you would have to remember there also Charrandas Persaud, who would have been playing a role in making history in Guyana. Is he a hero? Is he a villain? It depends which side you're sitting on. But he's back here now, and he just wanted to get his feet a little wet, maybe get a little cane juice and some egg ball there. But he has not officially confirmed that he has been offered anything by the government. But what we do know at this point in time that he's back, he's going to take it a little light. He still has the possibilities of entering back into his law practice. There's always there. He is a lawyer by profession. So let's see what happens. We are going to continue to follow, but he is, of course, we did ask him the question about the safety. It is going to be on the foremost mind, because when you have a lot of people would have been angered by his actions there, his vote, which would have said yes, join in the then opposition, the People's Progressive Party. They had a one-seat minority in the opposition there, and by so lending his vote, he would have seen the no confidence motion being passed. So we back here in 2020 as well, and you are about 2:25 p.m. now, right here on Kaieteur Radio, and we are coming to you live from studio, and we are on the Wake Up Guyana show. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie, and so we're going to get right down to the line, 622-222. We want you to send us those messages, and of course, 226-7453, 226-7453. Raj, when we have those numbers on the line, when we have those people calling in, let me know, because I want to, I want to talk to them. I want to have a conversation with our people today. They are a good set of people that we have in this country here, and I feel proud to be called a Guyanese. I know some people might be very angry from time to time and said, I don't want to be in Guyana, but I'm very proud to be in Guyana because I see possibilities. How do you look at the glass? Half full, half empty? We don't know. God bless Kaieteur News. Leonard and my Guyanese brother must be thankful for the stimulus of the $25,000 from the GT government, from the Guyana government. China, India, and many other countries, even in the Caribbean, did not provide a stimulus for their countrymen. Guyanese must stop complaining and follow the protocols in place for COVID-19. God bless Charrandas. Big fish eat small fish eat mud. Charrandas is not a prodigal son. He's a savior to a nation that was under a dictator who used aristocracy, not democracy, to accomplish nothing for the Guyanese people. May Allah continue to bless Brother Charrandas. So let me see, there's some other thing. Do we have a call in line there? 226-7453. I want to hear from you guys. 226-7453. Let's hear from you guys. Good afternoon. I heard Joe Harmon saying there's enough land for Guyanese for everyone to own their home. I do agree with him. Now, where was Harmon for the last 5 years? Was he sleeping? APNU did not open any new housing area in the last 5 years. So are they responsible for the people squatting? And so there's another thing here. Good afternoon, Leonard. Good afternoon to whoever you are. What will happen to the people in the Ponzi? Will they let them pay the people? Well, where is the money? That is what Uri Garci Dominguez Garcia would have to say to the police, where is the money, because he was supposed to be paying. And so they allowed him out. Let's see what else is happening. But he was slapping money laundering charges now. What is so-called Ponzi scheme. He told investors that he is investing their money to trade in foreign currency on the world markets. And he took money and he was paying out monies and so on. And where is that money that he took from the people? That is what the authorities want to investigate right now, or they are investigating. Are you going to have the PRO of NIS on anytime soon? Please let us know in advance. I have a few questions for her. Thank you very much. I'm going to bring her back sometime or the other. In the meantime, do we have any other any callers? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead. Yes, good.
Hey, Kaieteur News, what's up?
Yes, Kaieteur News, what's up? What's up? Go ahead.
I'm trying to get to Mr. Gildarie.
You're talking to Gildarie and you are on air. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, Mr. Gildarie, how are you feeling, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. What's happening?
You look very well, man.
I look very
You
well.
Like a film star.
Like a film star, I'm not sure about that. But go right ahead.
Yeah, give my respects to Raj. Let him know I said namaste.
Yes, Raj is listening to. He says namaste too. I hope that I think that's what you say in response, right? Good.
Yeah, namaste.
Yes.
Sir, I just want the Guyanese people to know that we're in the diaspora are rooting for them, you know. And we know the conditions that they're living under this COVID-19, you know. You there?
Yes, we're listening and we appreciate that very much.
Yeah, the COVID-19, the stimulus that you're getting from the government, they got to be thankful because there's many places in the world people are getting nothing. You know, my brother?
Yes, it is indeed true.
People are not getting anything. There's nurses, doctors, and so on that are working without PPLs and all these different things. You know, we got to stand up for the Guyanese people, you know. We can't give up.
Very good, very good. And you calling from where, sir?
You know that? I'm actually in New York right now.
New York. What's the weather like? I understand it's cooled down somewhat.
No, we're doing like 70s today. It's pretty nice for the last week and that type of stuff. You know, I'm actually going to try my best to get home to Georgetown pretty soon.
Very good, very good. Well, take care. Make sure that you protect yourself, right?
Yes, I want you guys to continue doing the good work and stay independent because we need to have you guys on the air, you know.
No, we will. I could tell you that this radio station, the newspaper, doesn't have a political party. We don't have anybody. We don't have a constituency. We just do what we have to do. We understand our mandate.
You guys are very popular in the Middle East. You know, you have a lot of people tuning in to Kaieteur News over there to listen to what's going on in Guyana because of the oil down there.
Oh, yes, in the Middle East. Qatar and so on.
Yeah, a lot of people in Qatar, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, Saudi Arabia.
I thank you very much for that. One of these days I'd have to go visit there. I know there's a lot of things to learn from there, Dubai and so on.
And when you go to Dubai, you'll see something you've never seen in the world. Guyana could become a Dubai if we really put our heads together and try to make the place work instead of dealing with this petty politics.
Yes, it takes discipline, huh? It takes discipline.
You know, it takes discipline. I can't understand the opposition leader coming and saying that there's enough land to give away to people, and he did nothing when he was in there for 4 or 5 years.
Yes. All right. Well,
but give my regards to you and Mr. Glenn Lal and all those guys, and you guys keep up doing the good work, huh?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much.
Yes, inshallah, alhamdulillah. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, dear. I'm not sure whether Raj would want to respond to that. You recognize what he said there? Yes, namaste. Huh? He didn't say namaste there. He said something else. So wherever you join us from now, this is the Wake Up Guyana show, and we are going to read you some messages. In the meantime, 226-7453. We want to push in as many callers as possible there. Let us see some of those messages. Hi, Leonard. I'd love to know when the government will change Ramsey 10 for the fake gun license to bandits. I'm not sure, but You guys want to get me in trouble there. Good afternoon, sir. May the good Lord shower his richest blessing on the PPPC government for giving each household 25,000. No other country in the world did that. Long live the PPP. Let me see here. 113 deaths as of 1 hour ago, Mr. Gildarie. Also, I was hoping I could have had a chat with you concerning the fraud that happened to me. The CID won't let me bypass them to see the crime chief. Yes, you could make contact with me. I'm going to be back at work next week, and so you could call through the switchboard 2258491, 2258491. Let him give you my number, and you can make a contact with me, and we'll make some time to sit down and talk about it. I did mention this over the phone, over the air sometime back, what I thought you should have done there. Somebody's recommending here, set up. Let me see here. This is Monday. Set up a commission of inquiry into the oil blocks. So do we have another call there, Raj? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Radio Pleasant, good afternoon to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And your people there inside this studio.
Uh-huh.
I have good news to tell you today.
More good news? The other day, come and tell me you're collecting money. Have more good news today?
Yes.
Let me hear you.
My husband went to market this morning.
Uh-huh.
And you know, he just go before time, he say, you walk free in the market. There is more vendor in the market. And today, there's a place to walk in the market.
Which place is that?
Kellen.
Oh, Scotland Market.
Yeah, me at the 58 radio, you know.
I know. I recognize your voice.
And how me so happy when come and you talk, you tell me Sunday, so our body could go and shop. And you see them shop full with people till a road. You don't get a chance to go buy goods. So you see how the money make use to people? How people are so blessed.
Wow.
You see how people are so blessed, how much people are starving, and God will bless the people who give that money to these Guyanese people. They will be so blessed that they distribute this money, and people are so blessed. You know, people are starving, and we didn't know how much people are starving until you see for yourself.
No, people are really getting it hard. I know, because I could tell you, I would get some calls, and some of the stories that you're hearing, it's unbelievable. Your heart would tear for them.
You see, rice, me get one special Abigail shop opposite Abby. Is everybody you go buy your rice. Everybody you go buy your rice.
All right, well, make sure that you do what you got to do, right? I know that you're very happy, and keep up. I know that you also talk about God, and so.
Me very happy. What may you help me do, man?
What happened? I slammed the door on the head. I have a mark on the head.
You still man, you're drunk?
No, I don't know. Don't ask me to explain it. You know, things happen. You stump your foot, something you fall along. You don't say, why did I do that? But, you know, things happen. I felt like a fool after that. But it is what it is. So we can have a chat.
You must more careful, Pickney. When you walk, you must careful.
Yes.
Anywhere you go, you have to careful. Me and follow, you know, I know me get a lot of pain. So you must try and careful how you walk.
All right. Thank you very much. And have a good day, right?
And may God bless you and keep you.
Yes, ma'am.
For honor and glory, and give you good health, and so continue to do the good work of God. God ordained you, Pickney.
All right, ma'am.
Ordained you to do this work of God.
Thank you very much, right? And all the best to the folks down in Berbice there, wherever you join us from today on Kaieteur Radio. On Kaieteur Radio, we are coming to you live from our studio here in Saffron Street. This is the Wake Up Guyana show. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie. Mr. Charrandas Persaud is a man sent by Lord Shiva. Will protect him at all time against any evil, and so that is a message coming in. Charrandas Persaud want to be head of Soku. I'm not sure about that. Who tell you that? So wherever you are, it is 226-7453. Do we have another caller online? Yes, we do. 226-7453. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Could you lower the volume on your radio, please?
Yes, Lord.
Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
You got a little situation on the road at Mahiko.
What happened? What part of Mahiko?
When you're coming from Bobby, you climb over Mahiko Bridge.
Uh-huh.
You come up a little bit, you get around a turn, there's a hole there, the whole sink again.
This is where they
That's
have the
about
big
2 months.
that big thing that they're going on, the construction of that housing scheme or something.
No, not before that. Before that, they're just on a thorn.
Okay, there's a big hole down there.
Yeah. The hole been sink up about 2 months ago.
Uh-huh.
They fixed it. Now it's sink back a whole lane take up.
Oh my
Like, sink
goodness.
right across.
I'm gonna send a message to Minister Deodat in there, and maybe they could do some fixing of that.
Because it's very dangerous, man. Especially for a strange person going to Borbees, it's very dangerous.
All right, what was the name of that place there? It's just over Mahika Bridge.
Just a mic. I can't really recall the village name.
So
but
that's
it's just
if
for a
you're
thorn.
coming from Georgetown and you head over that bridge there to head to
You're gonna be
Borbees.
on the second thorn.
Second turn.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have the minister and his team to see what they could do there.
All right. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Bye bye. So it's 226-7453. I want to hear you sending those messages to 622-222, and let me read what it said. I got that information from Canada. Somebody here that he's going to be the head of SOCU. I'm not sure. There's a head of SOCU there, but let us see what happens. We did ask him, but he says, I need to get my feet wet and just, get myself acclimatized. Charrandas Persaud is back. We did have him here on Kaieteur Radio, and you could call. He was a former Alliance for Change MP who voted against his own coalition because he says they were not doing what they were supposed to be doing, and he believed that there should be fresh elections, and you know what happened after then. So it's 226-7453. There's another call in line. Go ahead, caller, you on the air.
Kaieteur?
Yes, it is. You on the Kaieteur Radio? You're on the air at the moment.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
No, I got a problem. I went to the hospital at GPHC, right?
Yes.
And the doctor examined me, and he told me, the man, I got to do dialysis.
Oh my, you had a problem before or something?
It's 12 years now I'm going to the hospital.
Over the same thing. So now they tell you have to start dialysis.
Yes. I
Uh-huh.
had in a tube in me for 3.5 years.
Uh-huh.
Right? And them do some ultrasound.
Right.
And then do some tests. And then I find I said that my kidney bad.
Yeah.
That if I could get somebody who donate a kidney,
Uh-huh.
it could be better than doing a dialysis.
Uh-huh.
But they're telling me that doing the dialysis is 4 hours a day, 2 times a week.
Uh-huh.
If I could able to sustain that money,
Uh-huh.
because it's $15,000 inside for one session.
Yes, it's very, very expensive. Up to yesterday, we were talking about that because when you see people, I think they raise the issue and so on, people complaining if you don't have money, these kidney things, the best bet is to have a, I don't want to depress you or anything, but it's something that you would have to talk to. Did you talk to the doctors whether they put you on a list for a kidney or something?
They put me on a list and take my phone number and everything.
Yes.
But I don't know. They said they're going to give me a call.
Mm-hmm.
If then again nobody, I'm going to got to do the dialysis.
Right. So it's a lot of pain there. So what is it that you really want to ask us here?
No, if anybody there could help me to do this dialysis, so for the payment of these dialysis. I'm not working only 12 years,
Uh-huh.
and I'm visually impaired too.
Oh my God. So where you calling from?
Diamond.
Did you try talking to the Ministry of Health?
No, you see, I can't move about by myself. I got to get somebody to hold me.
You have
carry
any
me.
family or anything?
Only my wife.
Ask her to get in contact with the Ministry of Health because I think there's some programs in line there that they could look at their. If not, let your wife call through the switchboard, get my number. I'd probably have to reach out to those folks and let them maybe find some arrangement where you could meet with them or your wife could meet with them or something. But there's some kind of limited help that you could get from the government there. It's a very expensive treatment.
The Ministry of Health.
Yes.
Is up breakdown.
Yes, sir.
Still up breakdown.
Yes, maybe if
Well,
they
I got
could
to
call
talk
and
to-
maybe if you guys could find out, but I'd have to find out a little more. To be honest, I'm not too familiar with the procedures here, but I know there's some kind of help.
Oh, because when I went to their show, I said, watch, all my 2 feet start swell up,
Yes.
my hands start swell up, my chest start swell up.
How old are you now, sir?
61.
61. All right. Well, let me know how it goes. Well, keep me posted. Let them call through the switchboard 225-8491. They could get
224
225
uh,
8491.
8491.
Ask them to give you my number, and maybe we could probably talk about it. So I could probably try to reach out across to the thing because this is a matter, this is a serious matter. I'd probably have to ask them if there's something that you could that they could help you with. And the people who are listening to this program here, especially on Facebook or so, said that they're praying for you about your situation there. Okay.
Okay.
Let me know. Let me know how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, dear.
Okay.
And it is, I want to say welcome to WR Riaz. How is it, Riaz? You missed out. A very short while back, we had Mr. Charrandas Persaud online. And he said he stopped at the airport when he's coming down from the airport, I think last Friday. And what he stopped, and the first thing that he got was some pine. The slice of pine, and he put some salt in it. So he says he's trying to get his feet wet at the moment. You missed out on that. So
I missed
tell
that
him,
part.
Yes.
But I heard someone say head of Soko, but Soko was dismantled.
Well, no, Soko is still there. It's
No,
Sarah.
Sarah was dismantled.
Sarah
Sarah was
was
dismantled. Head of Soko, that's all rumors, but let's see how it goes.
Let's see what happened. But he didn't. He was very careful with his words. We tried to draw him out what exactly is happening.
He put his lawyer cap on, and he tried to keep it straight.
A smart guy, very smart, very careful with his words, and I think he very eloquent too. He could talk.
Yeah, I missed the actual interview. I only heard when you actually talked the back end. Then is when I started to drive. But like you said, some may see it as a hero, some may see it as a villain. But it's
at the end of the day, it's a democracy. It's
democracy that went out, and we move forward as a nation. We move forward as a nation. Once again, I see the minister teams. They're hard at work over the weekends.
Yeah. Got him busy, man.
I saw Minister Colin Crowe.
Up in Region 1 or something,
He was
right?
Region 1, and a promise delivered by Minister Rodriguez. She went to get that well up and running after I said it was a promise delivered.
Where is that?
That's Kaieteur or Region 7. All right, that happened over the weekend again. So she's been doing quite a lot. But I am. It's either two things. And this is. I have to give. You've heard. I have not spoke to this gentleman in a while. I sent him an inbox to tell him keep the good works up. But it's been every day or twice or thrice a day that. Member of Parliament Faisal Jafar Ali is engaged with the team.
He's a hard worker.
He's engaged with the team 2 to 3 times a day in communities, and I like I said, I know him very personally. I have not reached out. I reached out to him and just tell him congrats, keep the works up and stuff, but not like on an everyday basis. But I'm seeing a lot of the works, for that area. Region 5 area. They commissioned 2 streets to be reconstructed in the Bat area. Yesterday, some hampers again was delivered in some areas. Then I saw over the weekend again, the Minister of Oil was my friend here, Honorable Minister Vikram Bharat. Yes, the man in charge of oil right now. That's the hottest topic. Minister of Natural Resource. He was in Mara giving out hampers.
Gonna have to get some hampers for people. It's been a little while we did some hampers.
That's in that area of Mara there. So I'm seeing works are happening, and I'm seeing works, which is good for the people. More and more in Region 6 also, where the $25,000 release was being shared out more. I would have thinking you probably would have really read that piece. I'm sure you did. The piece that the government talk about which is not you're not filling up no form. I'm sure you touched base on it about the 25. Okay, good. Something that I saw from an airline that released about the Ministry of Health and what's not. If you're 2 years older, you got to get a COVID test to enter Guyana. That is. If you're 2 years older, this was a release from an airline that I saw. Everything else that we've mentioned in the past remain. But if once you're 2 years old, if you're under 2, If you're under 2 and your family or whoever you comes with, they're negative, then that's fine. Once you're over that age, you will have to get a PCR test and not an antibodies test. I saw that. I saw this from 2 airlines locally. So I'm thinking that's the groundings to go with. Because from the last discussion with me and a back and forth with someone from the Ministry of Health, at the end of the day, it was down to the airline according to that person. So I saw 2 travel agents of Guyana make some release, quite a lot of pointers, all of which we had already talked on, so I wouldn't bring them back. But once your child is, or a child or that person's child is over 2, they will have to get a PCR test as well. In international news, if you're thinking that, this Guyana is hard on all these testing, November 21st, only emergency personnel from the U.S. could go into Canada. You just can't go to Canada. This is from the U.S. borders, that is.
Yeah, they're very serious about it.
They have made that release over the weekend. I've saw that release over the weekend that they are not allowing Americans or persons entering from the U.S. unless they're frontline and proper reasoning to get into to Canada. I saw that release from one of the official sites out from Canada as it is.
Well, let us see what happens.
And actually,
here.
Canada is already, some parts are going back into a stage 2. So when I say a stage 2, a lockdown, like Vaughan area, parts of Ontario, parts of Kitchener, they're going in back to a stage 2. Today, numbers are in Canada, and I'm saying this to come to a point quickly about Guyana. Numbers are going up to about 700, 800, 900 positive cases per day. Back in Canada, within a very short period of time, hence all these lockdowns. Guyana, we've seen a little bit less on some numbers of recent. Do your little part. I know the constraints. I've been out, but I'm being it in a very controlled manner. A few of us, open space a little bit. And I'm not saying that, person's going to stay in their homes, but take the caution, the necessary caution as you go out on that roadways, as a good citizen as it is.
Thank you very much for that, W.R. Riaz. And of course, we have some time to get a couple calls in. 226-7453. Yes, good afternoon, caller, you on the air. Go right ahead.
A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Mr. Gildarie, I just called to let you know. Sometimes when these NIS people come on air, it sounds so easy. Imagine, I sent in my claim like about 3 months ago. When I called them the other day, they said that, they did not receive it. They asked you to drop it in a drop box. And they said that, it's not entered. 3 months ago, I have another working colleague. She dropped in hers the same time. She dropped hers 2 days before mine. And the thing about it, I don't know if these people are not clearing those boxes. I don't know what they're doing with people clean. And when I went to the doctor, 1 injection, I paid $14,000 for her. And it's really not fair for the people to pay NIS every month. And yet, when you do your forms, you drop them in the box. No response. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right. Did you call? You had a number that I had given to you guys. I think we lost that. Yes. That number there, NIS number. I think the general manager would have given us a number for if you want to call into NIS and you have a query that you could probably complain to them or raise those queries with them. And I did give that number out. Let me give it back again. It's 6400 6400 639 6400 639. That's a special number at NIS that you could call and complain or raise queries and so on. It is 226-7453 here. You tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie. Keeping us company here is W.R. Riaz and, of course, Raj at the control. Do we have another caller there, Raj? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, Kaieteur.
Yes, it is. Go right ahead.
Mr. Gildarie, I'm calling from New Amsterdam.
New Amsterdam, yes, sir.
Reference in New Amsterdam Hospital X-ray.
New Amsterdam Hospital X-ray. What happened there?
It ain't working, sir.
How long?
It's a good while now it's down. And a lot of people got to go across Rica, and some of them don't even have money. The other day, two person had to give a man money for like do his son foot, extra for his foot. And this thing overbearing, sir.
I think there's a new director there now. I think Mike Can is there. Michael Can.
I can't really tell, sir.
I'm going to try to raise this issue and find out what is the issue, how it is, if they're paying attention. Because if you're part of a hospital and you see the X-ray machine not working, whether you're taking actions to address that.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to raise this and try to find out. Yes, I hear you there. Because especially
very hard because some people ain't working. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Keep doing up the good work.
Thank you very much, dear Barbies. And so it's a good day to those folks up there. And if you're in Esquibo, I want to say good day to the folks starting from Supernam going all the way to Charity and Regina. How you guys doing there? I want to say good day to the Lake Wayaka people. Linden in Region 10. What's happening in Aichuni? Going all the way down to the Barbies River area, the Kwakwani, and so on and so on, thing across both sides.
A friend of mine and a friend of yours, I wouldn't call this friend name, tell me. The PPP got out of government in 2015. They started the campaign the very next day, and they're still in campaign mode. I wonder if that is good or that is bad.
It is not a bad thing if you have an appreciation. Let me tell you this. That's a very good point and question there, Riaz. When you have a government of the day understand or have an appreciation that if people could vote you out at any point in time, you have to make sure. And you're going to have a populace. You could never satisfy all the people.
Yeah, you can't
satisfy some people.
You can satisfy everyone. Just like our gentleman is telling me, the number is not Canada, but it's Toronto. Yes, sir. Well, I apologize that I said Canada. Thank you for being technically correct. Thank you for being technically correct. Yes, Canada is a very, very large country. These are numbers that are, as Kamal Hamid said, rising in the Ontario area. A little bit in Vaughan, a little bit. Vaughan is going back in a lockdown on a stage 2 as of today. Some parts of Kitchener, some parts of Toronto. So, I've only used that as an example. To make reference to Guyana, to be careful. Yes, I know that persons are being on the outside, but I'm calling in you to be cautious as you go on the outside.
Absolutely. So we're down to program time here now. It's a Wake Up Guyana show. We're coming to you live here from the Kaieteur Radio Studio here on Saffron Street on 99.1 in Demerara and Esquibo. And of course, if you're up in Berbice, you can always catch us on 99.5. And if you have a preference, it's Kaieteur Radio on Facebook or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. Many options of you getting on to us here on Kaieteur Radio. It would have been an interesting day. We'd have been talking about the St. George's Cathedral, that major renovation, $2 million US dollars, but it's $400 million plus dollars spent to put it back to where it was. More than 100 years, 120 years old building that would have seen some major, much needed repairs there, and they want about $150 million more, which is about $750,000 US, to finish the roof and to put it back at least in a good standing position there. One of our biggest iconic landmark in Guyana.
Here's another rumor for Charrandas. We'll just say it as it is. We'll see what comes out of it. Someone said they heard he got the position of the Canada High Commission. He heard that.
But let's see what happens.
This is somebody telling me they heard that. So
lots of rumors happening.
Lots of brewing rumors at the moment.
And of course, Mr. Charrandas Persaud, we would have had it here, and you could relook at this program here on Facebook, on YouTube. Kaieteur Radio on Facebook or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. It has been a pleasure as always. We ran out of time today to take more of your calls, but of course, talking to Charrandas and those folks from the St. George's Cathedral, they are very important, two very important issues. We must know what is happening in our land of ours. And I want you guys to take care, make sure that you protect yourself, drink lots of fluid. It's pretty hot, humid out there, and I'm still on vacation. So we're going to be
Still on
back.
vacation,
Yeah, still on vacation. Or when I say still on vacation, I smile because I'm here in the studio almost every single day. I worked yesterday, by the way. I worked in the newsroom yesterday.
On vacation, right?
On
Raj?
vacation. I'm not sure who in the right mind would do that. If you're on vacation, you're on vacation, but it is a news business. So I want to say thank you very much, and you guys have a pleasant rest of the afternoon. We're going to be back with you tomorrow, same place, same time. Until then, stay safe and be good.
COVID-19 tips sponsored by Dex Soap. 1. Practice social distancing. 2. Wear your mask when leaving the house. 3. Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds using our Dex Soap. 4. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flex elbow when you cough or sneeze. Choose Dex Soap for that extra cleanliness. Dex Soap is affordable and available nationwide.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.